Gather close, my friends. Today, I will tell you a story the elders still whisper about when the moon is high and the night is still. It is the tale of a young girl, a cruel stepmother, and a river no one dared to touch. The river's waters shone like gold, but its name was enough to freeze the bravest heart. They called it the Forbidden River. Many who went there never returned. But one day, a girl was sent there, not to fetch water, but to meet her death. Yet what she brought back changed her life forever. Listen well, for in this story lies a lesson as old as the hills. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village surrounded by green hills, there lived a kind girl named Grace. She had lost her mother when she was very young, and her father, a hard-working farmer, decided to marry again. The woman he married, Martha, was beautiful on the outside but had a heart as cold as stone. From the day she stepped into their home, Martha treated Grace like a stranger. Grace's father often traveled far to sell his farm produce, leaving her in Martha's care. The moment he was gone, Martha would pile heavy chores on Grace, fetching water, sweeping the compound, and even tending to the goats. But no matter how hard Grace worked, Martha never smiled at her or said, "Thank you." One evening, while Grace was weeding the garden, she overheard two old women talking near the path. They spoke in low voices about a place called the Forbidden River. "No one who goes there ever returns," one said. "They say it swallows people whole," the other added. Grace shivered and went back to her work, praying she would never go near that river. But Martha's sharp eyes had been watching her. That night she asked slyly, "Grace, have you ever heard of the Forbidden River?" Grace shook her head quickly, pretending she didn't know. Martha only smiled, an evil smile that made Grace's heart beat faster. The next morning, Martha called Grace and gave her a small empty basket. "Go to the Forbidden River and fetch me the golden water that flows there," she said in a sweet voice. "Without it, we cannot prepare a feast for your father's return." Grace's eyes widened in fear, but she dared not refuse. She knew her stepmother's punishments were worse than hunger. As Grace walked toward the forest path, her hands trembled. The villagers' warnings rang in her head, but she had no choice. She whispered a prayer to her late mother, asking for guidance and protection. The road to the river was strange and lonely. Birds stopped singing when she passed, and the air grew heavy. Grace's feet ached, but she pushed on, guided only by the sound of rushing water somewhere far ahead. By midday, the trees grew taller and thicker, blocking out the sunlight. The wind whistled through the branches like voices calling her name. Grace clutched her basket tighter and kept walking. Finally, she reached the Forbidden River. Its waters shimmered like liquid gold, yet there was something frightening about its beauty. As she stepped closer, a tall, glowing woman appeared from the mist. Her eyes were bright like the moon, and her voice was deep and echoing. "Why have you come here, child?" she asked. Grace knelt down quickly. "My stepmother sent me to fetch golden water for a feast," she replied truthfully. The woman studied her for a long moment and then said, "Many who come here seek greed, but I see no greed in your heart." The river guardian told Grace, "If you want the golden water, you must first pass 3 tests." Grace's heart pounded, but she nodded. The first test was to sweep the riverbank clean without letting a single leaf fall into the water. Grace worked carefully, her eyes never leaving the river's edge. The second test was to carry a clay pot filled with water across a slippery log without spilling a drop. Grace held her breath, moving slowly until she reached the other side. The third and final test was to share her only piece of bread with a shivering bird. Without hesitation, she broke the bread and fed the bird, which chirped happily. The guardian smiled. "You have a pure heart, and kindness lives in your soul." The golden water you came for is not just water. It is a blessing. She dipped her hand into the river and filled Grace's basket, which turned heavy with shining coins and jewels. Grace gasped. "But I came for water," the guardian replied. "You will never thirst again, and neither will your kindness go unrewarded." She waved her hand, and Grace found herself standing at the edge of the village, her basket overflowing. When Martha saw the basket, her eyes lit up with greed. "Where did you get this?" she demanded. Grace told her the truth, but left out the tests. Martha's heart raced with excitement. If the river could give Grace riches, it could give her even more. That very night, she packed her own basket and hurried toward the forbidden river. She didn't tell Grace or her husband where she was going, for she wanted all the treasure to herself. Martha reached the golden river and shouted, "Guardian, I have come for my treasure." The glowing woman appeared, her face stern. "To receive from this river, you must pass 3 tests." Martha agreed without thinking, eager for the reward. She swept the riverbank carelessly, letting leaves fall into the water. She carried the clay pot but ran too fast and spilled half the water. When the shivering bird appeared, she chased it away, unwilling to share her bread. The guardian's eyes darkened. "Greed cannot drink from my waters," she said. She touched Martha's basket, and it filled, not with gold, but with biting snakes that hissed and slithered out. Martha screamed and ran, never daring to return. From that day on, the villagers said the forbidden river gave only what a heart deserved. Kindness brought blessings, greed brought curses. Martha lived in shame, avoiding Grace's gaze. Grace used her treasure wisely. She fixed her father's house, bought farmland, and shared food with the poor. She never boasted about her riches. Instead, she thanked the river guardian in her prayers every night. Over time, even Martha began to change. She saw that Grace's kindness brought her more happiness than gold ever could. And so, in the little village by the green hills, the story of the girl who returned rich from the forbidden river was told for generations, reminding everyone that a pure heart is the greatest treasure of all. And that, my friends, is how Grace went to the forbidden river to die, but returned with a heart richer than gold. In every corner of our world, there are rivers of blessing and rivers of curse. The one you drink from depends on what you carry in your heart. So remember this. Kindness may seem slow to reward, but when it comes, it stays forever. Greed may look quick to fill the hands, but it leaves the soul empty. The elders say, "What the heart sows, the hands will surely harvest." May we all sow goodness, and may our harvest be sweet. The end.